Alright, g'day there, ladies and ledians. Welcome back to our Mystery Dungeon Let's Play. So, let's see, last time we came back from the future. Only took one part. Well, two parts, I guess. But now we're about to go see the guild. So, I couldn't really figure out what else to add to my drawing. So, I think for the most part it's complete, you know? Maybe I could do like black outlines or something, but I don't think it's necessary. I love this little moment. They're all excited to see us. It's so good. I love them like trying to piece together the plot, like. Yeah, it does look like Chatot is being insensitive of us, like not really caring about us, but he really does care. And this is a really good character moment. And so Chatot like asking for the rest of the guild's opinion, right? But he's very eager to see if anyone's going to be talking against that narrative. Because he himself doesn't, like, he believes us. He just wants to make sure that everyone else is agreeing with us. So he's putting up a bit of a front, you know? But yeah, like, it's a really cool moment because yeah, Chatot is basically trying to encourage the rest of the guild to share their opinion, which is a really good act of unity. Like, if Chatot just said, "Yep, I believe you, go to bed now," right? The rest of the guild will probably be like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" But by actively saying, "Nah, I don't believe you," and trying to egg people on, it's really encouraging them to, you know, come together as a team, which is great. And it's a really good character moment for just everyone, really. The guild as a whole, and especially Chatot. And I also love how Louis Tuff just knows Chatot so well. Because I do go back a fair bit. Exactly. Sometimes you need a bit of pushback in order to help people realize their goals, I guess. But you want to be careful not to go too far with it. Alright, so I believe we're gonna continue our work for a few days, and we talk to members about Torko. Then, I don't know if we can just directly travel there, or if we have to go back through Waterfall Cave. We'll see. Okay, so maybe we can just go there now. Alright. We have a bunch of gummies to drink. So let's go to the pub. Right. Let's sort out inventory, eh? Let's see. Positing. Oh yeah, we did get that. So, hang on. That item we got from the Zero Aura may inflict attacking enemies with a paralysis status condition. Huh. That's pretty good. I'll store it away for now. Alright. Now to get wild gummies out. Let's... There we go. Sorted. Gummy, 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 gummy. We only have 2 gummies. I guess we got the rest of them, huh? Oh, we do have some of these. Nothing particularly useful. Any gummies for sale? Just 2. Alright, now to drink. Again, we're going to be having the gummies until we get to about max IQ level. And then we'll start putting it to our partner. Come on, do we get any IQ skill soon? That's all games, isn't it? Yeah. And we didn't get any new IQ skills. Kind of annoying. But we should be able to check. Oh, so our next one is going to be Lava Evader. Does that even work for us? I kind of forget. In any case. Yeah, so there's no way to like instantly go to hot springs. Alright. It should be easy. Right, we're still in... There we go. And we're in automatic mode. That's not the one I wanted. Definitely need a better electric move, like Thunderbolt or Discharge would be good. Nice. Bunch of money. I think this romhack does increase the amount of money in dungeons. So it does help you stockpile up some money, you know? Which is good, because like with gummies and the occasional TM, it doesn't have to have a bit of extra cash. Ah, the dog is in the water. No. Oh, that is a gummy. There we go. This is what doing others is like, isn't it? Alright. And then, like, because of all the storytelling, right, you really forget about the very, very start of the game. And this is where that is brought full circle. So, you know, you're dealing with all this plot about the Time Gears and Dust Noir and just everything else, right? And then by this time, you kind of just forget about this, you know? And I think that's really cool. Because it goes, yeah, full circle. Makes you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's not coming out of nowhere. It's just, like, intertwining with another mystery that we've had since the start, you know? We've had our own, like, identity, like our amnesia and turning into a Pokemon. We've had this relic fragment. And then there was, like, the Time Gears. There was, like, Dust Noir, you know? And it all meshes well. It would have been different if this relic fragment was brought up throughout the entire game, but it gave it enough time to settle, so you kind of forget about it, and then it's brought up again, which is really good. And then, Wigglytuff mentioning that they've seen this kind of pattern. You know, first you would think that's, like, surprising why they didn't tell us before. But we haven't shown that relic fragment to anyone before. And so it's possible that if we showed the relic fragment to Wigglytuff at the start of the game, they'll be like, okay, cool, let's go to this cave. Oh yeah, it's like an escort mission, isn't it? Luckily, it's not going to be as bad in this romhack. Because we'll be able to control Chatot as well. And then you also really forget about Team Skull. Because it has been a while. So it knows how to self-pace itself, which is really good. You know, things come and go into the storyline, and it all works well. It's an intertwined machine that is able to continue moving forward. And none of the other Pokemon games do that, let me tell you. Alright. Let's go get ourselves some gummies. Ooh, fairy gummy. I'm actually like looking if they have like discharge or thunderbolt. Oh, they do have thunderbolt. All of those Joltik normally learn thunderbolt. All enemies within 1 target range. Really? Oh, that's pretty good. All enemies, huh? Are we likely to learn it soon? We've been getting some bug type moves and other stuff, so maybe we're going to get an electric type move soon. Which will be either like Thunderbolt or Discharge, I think. Let's check our move pool. So yeah, we haven't had an electric move in like ages. So maybe we're going to get like Thunderbolt soon. Do I even have enough to buy it today? Not quite. So I'm going to bank on the idea of leveling up soon and getting it. I don't want to spend all my money on Thunderbolt, you know? Like, it sounds useful, but if I have to choose between Thunderbolt and Discharge, I might go with Discharge. Especially with my compound eyes. Like, Discharge might have lower accuracy to balance it out, but with my compound eyes it's going to be really useful. Hello, Kirby Rush. Just found the stream. Which Pokemon game is this? So, this is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, but it's a ROM hack. So it has some quality of life stuff and some new features. For example, we are different starters. You know, starters from later generations. But there's a lot of different changes that I can tell you about if you like. But, this is Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. So I don't know if you're too familiar with this game, or if it's completely new to you. Yeah, how did you find my stream? You know, like, you missed out on playing the Mystery Dungeon games as a kid. They are really good, and Explorers of Sky is specifically one of my favourite games of all time. Possibly my favourite game of all time. That's including every single game that has existed. That I played, you know, obviously. But, especially for Pokemon, it's like the best Pokemon game. And so, if you were to play this game, you can use the ROM hack and, you know, for some quality of life and a good experience. But you can't go too wrong with the vanilla version as well. So don't feel obligated to do either of those, you know? But yeah, I'm curious how you found my stream. Like, was it just kind of recommended or searching around for content? I can tell you some of the quality of life stuff if you would like. Yep, a lot of Pokemon content, and yours popped up on my feed. That is good. And if you do like Pokemon content and you love watching smaller creators, in the description should be a link to the Small PokeTuber Club. It's a Discord server with a bunch of small creators like myself. Like, you know, under 10k subs, for example. And so, you know, if you want to see like just new people, that would be a good way to do it. We also do events. We're having an event coming up, but before I announce it, I will just mention that it's going to be for the PokeTubers, not for the viewers this time. But we've done things like a karaoke event, we've done like an art contest. But yeah, like, there's a bunch of small Pokemon content creators of various kinds of content. You know, you got shiny hunters, you got Nuzlockers, you got, you know, rum hackers. Well, maybe not rum hackers, but rum hack players, you know. So I do recommend joining and seeing what else kind of catches your eye. Because, like, you know, if you're currently enjoying this so far, there's a bunch of other people like me. Alright, I'll check it out. Your content is pretty interesting. Mind if I hang out in your street file? Yeah, of course, you're good to... You don't need to ask for that, but I do appreciate that, you know? And in terms of my other content, I do Pokemon theories. I do these Let's Plays. I do occasional rants. So, I have a rant about the latest Pokemon Presents. It was a bit of a long stream, I guess, but... yeah. So, I consistently do theories. I do... I have a TCG progression series, so if you've heard of like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series, where they go through the entire thing, I'm doing a similar thing with another creator for Pokemon TCG. With some custom rules, so even if you know about the TCG, it's going to be pretty interesting for you. But yeah, so far I've got like 35 different Pokemon theories that you've never heard of before, because they're entirely unique to me. And so, depending on your favourite generation, I can recommend some numbers to you. You know, what's your favourite generation, or do you have a favourite Pokemon? If I have an appropriate theory, I'll try to remember it off the top of my head. And if you've never played this game, we are kind of nearing the end of the main story. So if you do not want some spoilers and stuff, then probably just don't pay attention to the screen. That god. These aren't the normal types you can choose from. Exactly. This is a quality of life ROM hack that includes some of the Pokemon from the gens 5 through 9. Ask me for my favourite Pokemon is like ask me who my favourite child is. So I'm guessing you're a parent with multiple kids. I mean, you gotta have one favourite kid, am I right? You know, between you and me, you know, there's gotta be at least one that's a bit more, you know, enjoyable. But yeah, like, there's a bunch of Pokemon that you could have chosen from, like, all pretty unique. There's also new custom evolutions for the evolutions. So each of the evolutions has like another evolution form above it, right? And they diversify in their types. So Jolteon becomes electric bug, Vaporeon becomes water poison, you know? So that's something. But it doesn't have all the Pokemon from Gens 5 through 9. It just has a few families from each of them, you know? It is pretty sick. And there are other changes. So, for example, you can have full control over your partner in dungeon. Like, you can switch to manual mode, and so instead of like, you know, having a monster house and having to change up their tactics or whatever, or try and manipulate them, you can fully control them to run away. You can also just push them instead of swapping with them, and then you can hold down the B button to actually swap with them. So you have a lot more control over yourself and your partner. Which means if you really wanted to, you could have 4 Pokemon on your team, right? Switch it to manual mode, have them all split up to explore the dungeon. It would take a long time, but you could do it for exploring efficiency, you know? Also, a few little things like some Pokemon like that, Wigglytuff is now shiny. A lot of the side characters have like a little facial thing for everything. Like, there's no moment where someone's saying something and you don't know who it's saying, like who's saying it. So you get a lot more expressions from your favorite cast members, you know? I do recommend that if you have played this game a fair amount of times, then I would say playing this romhack would be pretty good for you. Some of my favourite Pokemon are Whimsicott, Araquanid, and Volcarona. Do you have a favourite? Yeah, I got a few. Let's see. We got Infernape, Ledians pretty fun, like, at least in terms of design. Let's see, there's Marshadow, Mew, Togetic, Alcremie. Those are all pretty fun. But yeah, those Pokemon, I don't think I've got any theories on those just yet. Maybe I'll do a Volcarona one in the future. Because like, it is pretty cool how it's like in the underground ruin, you know, and it's kind of like a legendary. So I will probably do a theory on Volcarona at some point. But those Pokemon I do not currently have a theory on. How about a favorite gen? I'm guessing maybe Gen 5 is your favorite? I think Marshadow is overly hated. It was the last decent mythical in my opinion. Exactly! Like, who cares about Zarude? Am I right? Like, get out of here with that monkey. But Marshadow, he's just a little guy. You know? Like, so good. And I think he had a pretty good showcase in that movie. What was it? It was like, I Choose You? Was that it? He had a pretty good showcase in that. I just don't like how you can't really use mythical Pokemon in the games. Because, like, you know, they're like level 50 and you can't use them in like the battle tower or anything like that, any post-game battle facility. So then, like, what are you supposed to use it for? you know? Like, maybe one day I'll go for, like, Pokemon Moon, and I'll randomize it so that Marshadow is in my starting... is my starter. That way I can actually use it, you know? Gen 5 was my first, but Gen 7 is your favourite. Fair enough. I do not like the monkey. Yeah, Zerud, it doesn't hit that well, does it? If he wasn't mythical, I better would have liked it more. Exactly. Like, I don't like how they're doing mythical Pokemon. Like, they should just be part of the game. You know? Do it in a post-game activity, have a little event or whatever, but just downloading like a mystery gift or redeeming a code, it doesn't feel good. Like, you don't catch it, you don't encounter it, you just receive it. You know, like, makes it feel kind of worthless. And especially since you can't really use it, because you've either, like, beaten the main game, right? And so there's not much else to do with it. Or, like, you're, I guess, like, joining the battle facility, or you're trying to do, like, online battles or whatever, and, well, I guess maybe online battles you could maybe use depending on, like, the format or whatever, but you can't use it in, like, post-game battle facilities, because it's, like, too strong. It's like, great. What am I going to use this monkey for? What am I going to use this Marshadow for, you know? But, in terms of Gen 5, I do have a few theories. So, I got one about Genesect. I think it's number 28 of Pokemon Links. That one was a fun one. Might make you think a bit differently about what Genesect is. Let's see, Gen 5. Trying to remember off the top of my head. Surely I have another one. I kind of mentioned Gen 5 in a few of them, but I think Genesect might be my only Gen 5 dedicated theory. I have to like double check. So I guess I gotta do more Gen 5 stuff. And as for Gen 7, I gotta like want to do as well. I guess I do lean towards the early generations. Do you know why Mewtwo can Mega Evolve in the Genesect movie? No, I do not. Because, like, does it have a keystone? Or is it like a Rayquaza thing where I can just do it? I guess, like, the Megas in the Hooper movie, they also don't really make sense, right? Mega Latios and Mega Latios. But for Gen 7, I do have an interesting theory. It's about Kanto and Alola, but you want to have Pokemon Links episode 31. Gen 7. Yeah, I guess I kind of lean towards the earlier generations. I do have a little bit of Gen 7 in, I think, episode 32 as well. Let's see. Nope. I could change into Mega Mewtwo Y before Gen 6 was even announced. Wait, what? It could change. Ah. Yeah, it was pretty early into that whole thing, wasn't it? So... yeah, I don't remember the timeline that well, but that's crazy. So... I guess that would have been crazy, right? Like, just having Mewtwo Mega Evolve before you even know what Mega Evolution is or what Gen 6 is. So I guess people would have thought it was like some kind of event or something, right? I did not know that. Like, I know that the movies like help promote the next generation, right? There are like a few crossover movies like that. But yeah, I didn't realize that the Gen 6 one was super early in terms of announcements. Like, is it maybe that the Japanese knew about it? Like, maybe it was like a different time? So for example, look, I can go manual mode. Me down here, you up here, and control escort partners, including like those from a job, to help you like navigate it. It's no longer an escort mission because you can control it, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, moves will level up as you use them, like in later Mystery Dungeon games. When you hold L, instead of like only using a set move, you can choose which move you want to use at any given time. So you don't need to fiddle around with a bunch of the settings for the move. And look, I can push, I can swap. Really useful. But yeah, I guess I kind of lean towards more of the earlier generations, or things that are kind of global in the Pokemon universe. So there are theories that, you know, any Pokemon fan would be interested in, for example. But in terms of Gen 7 specific theories, I've only got like episode 31 pretty much. So, but hey, if you like Kanto and Alola, I think it'll be pretty interesting for you. Because my theories are kind of set in the world of Pokemon. Like, what does it mean to shiny hunt, for example? That's a good one. That was an early theory. Like, what does a shiny actually mean in the Pokemon universe? And should you do it, you know? You know, how do Pokemon, like, breed, for example? Like, there's no way they have the parts for it, you know? Wailord and Skitty? Are we really going to say that they have the parts for that? What is the theory you've been wanting to make but haven't gone into it yet? Well, I guess if I say something it'll act as a spoiler, but I do plan to cover how fairy types came to be in the timeline. Because there's some interesting quotes about the fairy type. So, looking at how the fairy type kind of came to be, I think it will be pretty interesting. But a lot of the theories that I've wanted to do, I've already kind of done, and I kind of just think of a theory on the week kind of thing. I go, huh, that is kind of weird. Let's go into it a bit more and see what we can make out of it. For example, the one for this week that I'll be working on later is taking a look at Phoebus. Seeing how it evolves and Oh, this isn't good. This is really not good. Let me try going to manual mode. I need them to move. Hold up, this is really intense. I really can't get them to move. Right, I should have an arm bear to help heal up. There we go, you're out. My turn. There we go. Nice. Yeah, so like Phoebus, you know, it's like, what does it mean to have high beauty? And then, how come it changed to a prism scale, you know? Like, what does that mean in universe? Like, where does the prism scale come from? Because, like, if you think about it, right? If it came from a melodic, then it's a chicken and the egg kind of situation, isn't it? Like, where did the first prism scale come from? So that's the kind of thing I kind of explore. And I like to see what I can kind of link it to, you know? So, and like my content isn't the best quality, right? Like I'm not exactly editing it the greatest. I do PowerPoint slides that are kind of held together by duct tape. So, you know, don't expect like a masterclass, like ADHD kind of editing, you know? Like, it's very bare bones, but it is my style. That's fine by me. Sounds good. Yeah, there should be enough variety on my channel for you to find something interesting. And yeah, checking out the Small PokeTuber Club, I think is going to be pretty fun, because then you can find other people to watch. Depending on what kind of content you like, I can probably recommend some, because I am the leader of the Small PokeTuber Club, and so I do know the people the most. You know, like, do you like shiny hunting? Do you like Nuzlocks? You like Let's Plays? And then, so Chatot and Team Skull has another kind of full circle moment here, which is what I really like about this game. Like, there's no... I don't think there are any loose threads. But at least now we don't need to escort Chatot. Also, let me just explain something about my joystick, right? I have compound eyes, increasing my accuracy, which is really useful, right? And I have a Thunder Wave, and so I can basically stun lock an opponent. Because Thunder Wave's only downside is the accuracy, right? And paralysis is a very brutal condition in this game where you can't do anything. And so, with my increased accuracy, I can get Thunder Wave off like all the time and effectively stun lock an opponent. I know it sounds really overpowered. I mean, it kinda is. But it's pretty fun. But yeah, I do have some rants about, like, kind of Pokemon and Game Freak as well. So if you are not particularly happiest with Pokemon at the moment, maybe those kind of content would be interesting to you. But, you know, I think it's pretty fun having, well, being a small Poketuber, because, like, you know, when people like you come into the chat, right, you're not, like, flooded out by the conversations. You know, like, you're not instantly scrolled all the way up. I can actually have a conversation with you. Which you can't really get with bigger streamers. You'd have to, like, pay to have your message read out, and then maybe start a conversation. But that feels really, really weird to me. Like, you shouldn't have to pay to be noticed. You know? Also, Compound Eyes of Fury Cutter, also really useful. I gotta say that this music, not my favourite. But the exploding music is pretty fun. Joltik and Hisuian Zora is a cool combo. Yeah, I agree. I wish that we had like Illusion on Zora, but they didn't have Illusion as an ability at this time. You ate my gummy! Give me that! Oh, don't like that. Anyway, I wish we had like Illusion and we could do some kind of shenanigans with that, but they didn't have Illusion back in this generation. So what we have instead is Scrappy. So normal type and I believe fighting type moves are now neutral against Ghost type. It's something, but at least in terms of Ghost normal typing, you know, that's 3 different immunities, only 1 weakness. Pretty good. But I was, instead of thinking of Hisuian Zora, I was thinking of maybe having the Sandar on the team, because that would have covered some of my weaknesses and stuff. But ultimately, I decided to go with Hisuian Zora. Also because it's shiny. But yeah, there's a lot of different partners you can choose from. Like, you could be like a Phantom, you could be a Snom, you could be I think a Hisuian Growlithe. You know, so in fact you don't really get the typical starters. Like, you might get one or two, but the majority of the starters can just be found throughout the game and you can recruit them. But it does give you a lot of diversity instead. See, I don't think you get this expression with Skuntank in the game. Where he's actually sad, you know? Skuntank's just hanging up so that he can maintain his pride. A real tsundere, I guess. Alright, boss battle time. He's just trying to maintain face, and his like henchmen are like, "Nah, you're a big old softy, aren't you?" Now, I wonder if this fight is going to be changed in any way. Because there are some changes to the actual encounters and stuff. Oh, there we go! That's new. Alright, did not expect that. And we had some cool custom artwork for that as well. That's great. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Goosebud. Like, Chatot is such the goat for this. Putting his body on the line, and having a history of doing it in the past as well. For very tough. Like, he really is the goat. Alright, switching to manual mode. Let's see. I believe we have agility. Let's do it again. Alright, now to short him. Ouch. Okay, one down. And stun lock. Alright. There we go. Not as bad with our strong combo. But it is what it is, you know. Emergency exit. That's good. Because in the original Kabuto says skedaddle, you know. But emergency exit, I feel like is a pretty neat little Pokemon joke. I love you, chat up. Everyone put in like a, you know, press F to pay respects to Chatot. Nah, just kidding, he's still proving. And so now our router fragment is responding to the wall. So this is becoming full circle of this mystery. Like there are so many good twists and turns to this game that Pokemon would never, like a mainline Pokemon game would never have as good storytelling. Like, you only really get this good storytelling when other people, you know, make a game for Pokemon. Like, the latest game, Pokopia, is doing pretty good. At least, as far as I can tell. And, you know, that's another spin-off game that's doing pretty good. So, is it too far to say, well, too out there to say that the spin-off games are kind of better than the mainline games? Not all of them, You have like Detective Pikachu and you have Pokemon Dash, Pokemon Tournament, I guess. You know, but some of them are pretty good. But they don't get the praise that they deserve because they're not a mainline game, you know? You know, like you got Mystery Dungeon, you got Ranger, Conquest, you got Rumble. Those are all good spin-off series. I mean, there's a few dozen among them, but you know, you also got Pokemon Snap. You got Stadium games, they're good. Pinball. You know? Like, there are some good spin-off games. They just get overshadowed by the mainline games. And at least in this game, it tells you more about Pokemon and the Pokemon world than the mainline games do. You know, like this feels more like a lived-in world. Pokemon just aren't just tools for you to use, they're actually living creatures. A world full of Pokemon. What would it be like? You know? And it's not as though like the story is like really babyfied or anything. Like there are some, I guess, darker aspects to the storyline, but it's so sophisticated. Yeah, it is so sophisticated that is suitable for all ages. You know, like it's not super scary or anything for a kid, but even as an adult, you can still enjoy it because of how well it is written. It's a bit sad that we don't have a Lapras talking sprite for this, but it is what it is, I guess. And it uses the lore of the different Pokemon really well. You know, you got Dialga, you got Celebi, you know, they really add to the lore and the myths and the hierarchy, I guess. You know, you got the Light Guardian trio, you know. So, I think it handles the Pokemon really well. And the question is there any bad cast? Not really. I feel like all the Pokemon they chose for all the roles that they have is handled pretty well. Yeah, if I was in charge of like choosing the correct Pokemon for each of the featured characters, I don't know if I would pick anyone different, except for maybe like, you know, replacing Corfish or Trogon. They could be kind of whatever, you know. But it's a really solid cast. But I do also have a theory on Lapras, if people are interested. See what happened to kind of wipe them all out. Like, if you've ever been curious about what happened to all the Lapras, it could be a good watch. And then this music. Okay, so there are some Lapras talking sprites, but I guess in that previous scene we didn't have any. Like, this visual, right? You got Lapras flying through the sky to an island with a floating tower that is crumbling above it. You would never see that in a mainline Pokemon game. Only in a spin-off game could you see something like that, and for it to still make narrative sense. It's not like fantasy elements just not explained at all. I mean, some parts of it are, I guess, but it still makes narrative sense. That should be fine. Alright, we'll probably do this dungeon and then call it there for today, and we'll leave the temporal tower stuff for next week. So, I believe, yeah, we gotta escort Gala, which shouldn't be that bad because he's got synthesis, so he can actually self-heal. Alright. Back to automatic mode. Here's a fun little trivia, right? I had a Pokemon D&D game for 3 years. I was a DM of it. Ooh, that's a cool sprite for a Giraffe. And this music wasn't like my pre-game music for the players, you know, like, we'd be listening to this as we're kind of setting up, you know? So this is very nostalgic for me. But yeah, Pokemon D&D was so good. Especially as I was a GM, right? I had to make up a lot of it. So I had a custom region, a custom evil team, even some custom Pokemon, you know? And it was a pretty good story, I think. Lots of twists and turns. Some fun battles, interesting gym battles, you know? It was good. But, you know, it can't go on forever. So, after 3 years, the main story completed. Then we did a epilogue adventure with a mythical Pokemon, you know? It's good. And so some of the lore that I had from that game, I have brought over into my theories. Not all of them. At least not all of them yet. But, for example, my Porygon one, is from the game. So that's pretty cool. Oh, that's good. We got the what ability have you got? It's it must be like chlorophyll, right? Yeah, great. But yeah, this music is really nostalgic for me. Always prioritize gummy. Gummies are good. I hate the eyesight moves like that. Because they're so annoying. You know, all the eyesight moves are like powder snow, you know, you got blizzard. And they just hit everyone in the room. So a bunch of eyesight Pokemon love to use that kind of move. Which is really strong. Because it takes a couple turns to like get close to them or to be in a good position to attack them, and so they have multiple turns of potentially hitting the entire team, you know? Alright, Monster House, we're gonna switch to manual mode. Great. Get you back up. Push. Oh great, they've used agility. This is bad. We need to go back further. They'll give us some time. Alright, now we need agility of our own. Okay, now that in a single line, we can tag them on a bit more. So we can't really use electric type attacks. So... nice. Oh, bit of malice. It may also affect the target with frozen condition. That's pretty good. Is a special attack? Ooh, like. I guess it's the same kind of accuracy, huh? But it's only in front, and I do like the utility of... It doesn't even cut corners. It is a good move, but... Sometimes you need the utility of a multi-hit move, a ranged attack. I can get rid of Wide Slash. Maybe. But I like Shadow Sneak, because it has like some range to it. If I had to replace Shadow Sneak, I would probably go up like a Shadow Ball, that way I can hit a further distance, or Ominous Wind, so I can hit anything in a room. But a single target attack, while it is good and it can freeze, and frozen condition is very strong, I don't think I need it, unfortunately. Alright, I think that's all of them. So switching back to automatic mode. There we go. Alright, that was a nice little detour, I guess. Onward with the exploration. Hey, you found the truck covered up. Nice. Alright, endure. It really gives you a few turns of invulnerability. Wow. Unable to be great. Alright. Good. Get out of here, that. Buddy, endure. Tell you what though, the scariest move in Mystery Dungeon is Perish Song. Because if a wild Pokemon uses that, and it manages to hit, well, it's like the game where you only have 3 turns to live, you know? And 3 turns is not enough to do anything with it. Ow. Yep, we're out. There we go, discharge. That's what we've been waiting for. Short hit ratio is pretty low, but with our compound ice, it should be pretty useful. So I think I'm going to get rid of Phantom Shock for discharge, start leveling that up, improving its attack and its accuracy, you know? Should be really useful. And I do have the PP Reserver skill, so occasionally I'll just preserve a use of discharge, which will be really useful. Because I got Fury Cutter, Fund the Wave, and Giga Drain for single target, but now I've got discharge for a group. Really good. And in case you're wondering, I think if I ever hold up. Oh yeah, my moves around a bit, that's why. Oh yeah. If I ever relearn from the shock, it should still be leveled up. Let me just go ahead and move that around so it's back to where it was. Yeah. And it might be that it's leveled up across all Pokemon, or it's only leveled up for Joltik. So if I go, yep, that should be Fury Cutter. Excellent. Oh, Water Pulse. Fury Cutter is very useful. And multi-hit moves are really good. Oh, Vacuum Cut we might be able to learn. Yeah, let's get rid of Y slash. Nice. Well, good thing we have discharge. Ah. Right. Alright. Get rid of you. Oh, there's this entire arena attack, isn't it? Nice. Now we get discharge. What do you endure? There we go. Okay, both got stronger, which is great. Yeah, the vacuum cut isn't particularly strong, is it? I guess it is normally a pretty weak move, so it's not that useful. Yeah, it is pretty weak, all things considered. So, unless you spend a fair bit of time to level it up, it's only really useful for a bit of chip damage and everything. But I can see it being decent once you level it up. You know, a lot of PP, hit everything. But, we are going to save the rest of it for next week. We should be able to complete the rest of the main story and then start doing the post game. So, I would like to thank everyone for watching. We have some newcomers today, so hopefully you like the content and you can stick around in the future. But if not, that's also good. But I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. See ya.